All right, let's go into Candace Owens and her lawsuit with Brigitte Macron. As you guys know, Candace Owens, for those of you that are unaware, Candace Owens did a multi-part series where she covered Macron's wife, Brigitte Macron, basically, for being a man, okay? And basically what she's alleging is that Macron essentially married his dad. I didn't watch the series. I'll be honest with you guys. I did not watch the series, so I don't know, you know, how accurate it is or whatever. But from what a lot of people tell me, they said that it's very well done and that it's realistic and they believe her. I haven't watched it, so I can't weigh on it. I just know that they're suing her. They first sent her a cease and desist, I remember, a couple months ago. She continued on with the series, and now they've officially filed a lawsuit against her. So we're going to see her respond here in this video. I didn't get a chance to cover it last week, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. And TBC Films, I don't know if that's me or is this thing like blurry? Let's go ahead and check out this Candace Owens clip.
Candace Owens, it works like this. I wake up, I stretch, I have a cup of coffee, and then I am served with a lawsuit. I think that's the morning routine, my friends. That is clearly my morning routine. It is so effortless. And today I have been sued by the first lady man of France. So let's just go, guys. Let's just go. Welcome back to Candace. Life for me to roll this clip, so let's roll it.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
That's why you're here. That's why you're here. That's how I feel right now. Me receiving my papers today. By the way, another lovely individual who delivered those papers to me. I really got to say, Tennessee, we are absolutely crushing it. The people that deliver the papers are just fantastic. They're so kind. They're always fans of mine. Anyways, I am floored. Are you floored? Because this is just goofy. You are officially a very goofy man.
Guys, I did not watch her series on Macron's wife. I just didn't find interest in you know, Macron and his wife. But let me know, comment below, guys. Let me know in the chat. Was it good? Was it not? You guys tell me. What do you guys think? Are you convinced? Tell me what you guys think about the documentary.
And Brigitte.
Sandman, thanks for the 5 gifted.
Gotta give it to you. You've definitely got balls. Fire everybody around you, and I mean literally everyone around you who told you that this was a good idea, that this was a very good idea for you to be the first sitting first lady of a country to file a lawsuit against a journalist of another country. You are literally making history in all the wrong ways. And I want to be very clear here right at the top that this is obvious, very clear that it is an obvious and desperate public relation.
Okay, so some of you guys are saying that it was put all together, put together well. So a lot of you guys believe it. All right. All right. I just didn't watch it because I didn't, you know, I'm just not interested in a woman being a man, Macron's wife. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the allegation is basically that Macron's wife is really his dad. Right, guys? Is that what I think the allegation is? So obviously she filed a big fucking lawsuit. I think it's like 200 pages against Candace Owens. They sued her out of the Delaware, if I'm not mistaken.
Strategy. That's what this is. Where do we even begin? Okay, so let's rewind this. In case you're new here, a few weeks ago, Brigitte finally lost her defamation claim against 2 journalists, which was taking place for years, by the way, over in France. It was the most viral story worldwide. Everyone's going, okay, obviously something is here. She's been clinging to this defamation claim, saying, oh, well, I'm suing them for defamation, and this is not true. And Brigitte's world, therefore, came crashing down because that was her only effective PR strategy. That was the only thing that they used to dissuade the rumors that she was born a man. It was an absolute farce of a lawsuit, which relied upon the public not knowing the details of the lawsuit at all. In short, the lawsuit was not about whether or not she was born a man. Okay, that's not the claims of defamation that she was bringing against them, but rather it was very particular, and it was about whether or not Natasha Ray and Amandine Roy misspoke when Natasha said that a document that they had received throughout their investigation appeared to her to be fraudulent. I mean, they were getting really petty. She basically was like, if you make a mistake, I'm going to sue you for defamation. And of course, when you're working with people who won't answer basic questions, you are bound to make little mistakes. But like I said, Brigitte's entire PR strategy hinged upon public ignorance. And then the public ignorance went away when I did the Becoming Brigitte series, because people realized you only have to get one episode into that thing, okay? You realize these are not outlandish allegations. These are not allegations coming from the quote-unquote far right or the quote-unquote far left. These are not allegations that are coming from deep on a Reddit feed, okay? This is the reality. It is a couple in reality that has been involved in way too many
redacted
scandals, okay? Scandals that are related in some way or another to people that they've worked with, people that they were friends with, artists that they've hired. Things just didn't look right. Then, of course, I invited you guys to recognize that the press in France lied about their origin story. They lied about everything. They tried to present them as some modern couple, telling us that she was so hot, she was Claudia Schiffer, and even though he was 14, she was just irresistible. And then you see this picture, and you're going, what? That's a picture? The hot teacher that the press was trying to sell so people wouldn't question this odd relationship. A person that's 40 being attracted, or alleged to be 40, I actually think Brigitte's older than that, is attracted to a 14-year-old boy. That's disgusting. It's perverted. No matter what, this is an incredibly perverted story, which centers around individuals who happen to surround themselves with other perverts. That's the reality. You cannot look away from that. And then, of course, right about the time that President Donald Trump personally called me and told me that Emmanuel Macron asked him.
Now, Tim Pool told me that he thinks that it was a prank that called Candace. It was like a voice, like an AI that called her.
To order me to just stop talking about his wife's penis. Yeah, then the world knew something was going on here, because that's not normal. That is completely not normal for a sitting president to get on a plane, to come over and visit another sitting president, discuss Ukraine and Russia, negotiations for world peace, and then to take him to the side and say, hey, so do you know Candace Owens, this podcaster? Yeah, that was the moment where the world went, it's over, pack it up, go home. There's clearly something here. So Brigitte is now pivoting strategies. That's what's happening here. I told you already that they went to market in America to hire a crisis PR team on American soil. Again, a sitting president of a foreign country trying to hire a crisis PR team in America, that's not normal. And
that is kind of crazy to hire a crisis PR team for a journalist saying your wife's a man. That is strange. I ain't gonna lie.
Is more than likely, and I'm surmising here, that crisis PR team was the one that gave them this advice. After they lost against Amandine Roy, Natasha Ray, they probably said, file another lawsuit. We know you can't win that lawsuit, but it doesn't matter. We just need you to file the lawsuit for the sake of press, so that you can.
And the other thing also, when you file these lawsuits, is you can bleed people financially, right? Because now they have to lawyer up. So that's another, strategy as well that people employ is, they employ the lawfare to drain your pockets, essentially.
Again, say to people, oh, well, it's not true.
But Candace isn't broke, bro. She probably made a couple million off that series alone. She had so many people watching that shit. A lot of women watch Candace Owens, guys. A lot. Right? And they love that type of drama, celebrity, e-gossip shit. So I already know that she probably made $1 million off that series in itself. And then her husband is worth like $100 million. So she's got some dough.
True, because look, I'm suing Candace Owens. If you need any more evidence that.
And if I'm not mistaken, Cha, I think they sued her husband too. I think they sued his company. Let's look here. Candace Owens lawsuit. So it says here, when the first president, blah, 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 Macron's lawsuit attacked what it called verifiably false and devastating lies being repeated online by Owens that Macron, 72, was born a man. The lawsuit said evidence. The lawsuit said evidence clearly disproved this grotesque narrative, which had become a campaign of global humiliation and relentless bullying on a worldwide scale. The case prompted broader questions this week about how conspiracy theories spread worldwide, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the Macron's U.S. lawsuit through the school theater program. President Macron and Miss Macron formed a deeper intellectual connection. Blah blah blah. Let me try to get a copy of the lawsuit for you guys, because if I'm not mistaken, they did it out of Delaware. All right, here you go. Bam. So here's the complaint in the Superior Court of the State of Delaware. Candace Owens LLC, and George Tom Inc. You know why it might be out of Delaware? It might be because she has her business out of Delaware. That might be why. So the opening thing says, in March 2024, Candace Owens, a right-wing podcaster, told the world she would take her entire professional reputation on the stake her entire reputation, that she is in fact the man. Since then, Owens has used this false statement to promote her independent platform, gain notoriety, and make money. Owens disregarded all credible evidence as proving her claim in favor of platforming no conspiracy theorists and proven defamers, and rather than engage with President Macron's attempts to set the record straight, Owens mocked them and used them as additional fodder for her frenzied fan base. So they're talking about her Becoming series. How long? I think this thing is like 200 pages, chat. Let's see here. Yep, 200 plus pages. Holy.
Brigitte Macron is definitely a man. It is just what is happening right now. The idea that you would file this lawsuit.
6 million, chat? Okay, 6 million? No, you're trolling. It's not 6 million.
Is all of the proof that you need. Okay? I have been in communication.
All right, chat, come on, man. Stop trolling. I'm going to look at the OSS chat. I'm not even going to look at the YouTube Romo chat. OSS chat, can one of you guys tell me real quick how much they're suing her for?
With their lawyers or via our lawyers, like their lawyers and my lawyers have been speaking, phone calls, emails since January. She's now named her law firm. I protected that, but now we can tell you it's Claire Locke, okay? Claire Locke is representing Brigitte and Emmanuel Macron, has been in communication with us for months, and yet they did not send us a copy of the lawsuit. They did not give my lawyer a heads up that they were filing a lawsuit, but they did instead opt to give this lawsuit ahead of time to the Financial Times, the New York Times, CBS News. What does that tell you? It's a PR strategy. They don't care if they win. This is about running it through the press. And how much PR are we talking here? Claire Locke, Tom Locke, or Tom Claire, whatever his name is, they actually uploaded the lawsuit to their website, and then they gave CBS News a link to the uploaded lawsuit before I had been served, before my lawyer was even informed about it.
Oh, wow.
Found out with all of you. I found out with the world. I found out from the Financial Times that I was being sued by the first couple of France. Not normal, guys. And even in the Financial Times, this is what's really funny, despite getting the exclusive on this story, and they must have gotten it yesterday, by the way, they definitely had to have received it at least yesterday, maybe even before then, because I think 3 people worked on the article. So this is not like they were breaking news. It was quite a long article. But even the Financial Times, despite getting the exclusive, they're kind of stating the obvious in the piece. They're like, yeah, this is a pretty steep mountain to scale. This has kind of never been done in the history of the world. Not sure what's up here. Specifically, the article reads, quote, "The suit is a rare case of a serving world leader personally suing an online influencer over their content." It goes on to read, "The Macrons face a high legal bar since U.S. defamation laws require public figures to show."
Yeah, guys, I'm not going to lie. This is a very high bar to sue somebody for when you're a public individual. For defamation, very hard, because you got to show that it's like with malice, and that's quite a big barrier to overcome. So it is not going to be easy for her to prove this in court. We'll see. We'll definitely see.
Actual malice.
But defamation against celebrities is, oh man, very difficult.
Meaning the person knew the information was false.
Shout out to Ken Rose for the gifted sub. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate that greatly. Also, guys, smash that like button on YouTube.
Or had a reckless disregard for the truth. Making matters even more hilarious is the preschool principal that they have established here as the basis for their lawsuit. This is a quote from their lawyer. given to the Financial Times. It reads, quote, Owens has dissected their appearance, their marriage, their friends, their family, and their personal history, twisting it all into a grotesque narrative.
Okay, so I asked on Grok, guys, and Grok says here, the lawsuit filed by French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte Macron, against Candace Owens on July 23rd, 2025 in Delaware Superior Court does not specify an exact monetary amount for damages. Instead, the 219-page complaint seeks actual, presumed, and punitive damages to be determined at trial, along with legal costs and other remedies as deemed appropriate by the court. These include compensation for substantial economic harm, such as loss of future business opportunities and compounding losses, reputational damage, and expenses incurred for legal counsel to mitigate the harm from Owens' claims. Yeah, so this can literally go up to the fucking moon, bro. This can go up to the moon.
Designed to inflame and degrade, the Macron said in their filing. The result is relentless bullying on a worldwide scale. Okay, so my first question is, how old are you? Are you 5 years old? Really? This is bullying is what you're coming at me with, which, by the way, is exactly what they're coming at Xavier Poussard with, which I should mention now. Xavier Poussard is not being sued for defamation. He's the one that wrote the book that I based my entire report on. They're not suing him for defamation. No. They're going, you're a bully. We're going to sue you. And then we're going to launch this lawsuit against Candace in the United States, not against you as a French citizen, because we know we can't win this, but it doesn't matter because courts take a long time to establish that. And in the meantime, we can just say, finally, that we're suing her. Secondly, the audacity for Brigitte Macron to call me a bully. When we just watched Brigitte physically assault her husband.
Oh, yeah, she slapped the shit out that nigga, bro.
Falcon punch!
You guys remember that? Which I've tweeted about this. It went viral, bro. She literally fucking hit this nigga with the Falcon punch, bro.
He's been on the world stage. You pummeled him.
Yeah, that was when he went to Vietnam, and he's like fucking just sitting there like, oh, shit, sorry, guys. That shit was hilarious. Look at this again, guys.
Watched Brigitte physically assault her husband on the world stage.
She mushed that nigga, bro.
You pummeled him. You beat him. You're the bully. You're over here. Oh, I don't like Candace's words. You whooped your husband in front of the entire world on a plane.
That's facts, bro. That nigga looked crazy after that, man. That nigga looked crazy after that. I ain't gonna lie, man.
You're the bully. You're the bully, Brigitte. And you've been bullying him, I would bet, since he was 14 years old.
Well, she's significantly older than him, too. So that's another crazy part. Absolutely nuts.
Grooming him. And that's the worst kind of bullying in my viewpoint. By the way, I want to read you this from their lawsuit because I obviously have not had time to read all of this, right? Like the Financial Times reported that the lawsuit also says that their filing includes a description of the circumstances in which they met. The president was a 15-year-old student at a Jesuit high school in Amiens when he first encountered Brigitte, then a 39-year-old married teacher with 3 children. So much of that is not true. Again, they're trying to say he's 15, he was 14. According to the filings, they, quote, formed a deeper intellectual connection when she directed a production of the 1971 Milan Kundera play, Jack and His Master, in which Macron played the lead role. And later, the two began meeting regularly to collaborate on another play. Their relationship, quote, remained within the bounds of the law, the filings say. But when the teenager's parents found out about his, quote, strong feelings for his teacher, they moved him to a different school. Before he left, he told her, whatever you do, I will marry you. Dude, you're such a creep. Like the fact that you're stating this as a defense and you're not even telling the truth here, okay? Because you can't ignore the facts of how old he was when he was in that play. You just can't. So happy to go through this in court. But do you realize how creepy you are? How creepy this sounds? His parents then took him away because I'm disgusting, right? Because I'm a creep. Because I had power over this student and tried to seduce him, not because I looked like Claudia Schiffer, because I'm just like a creepy old man. Like that's what happened here. And you stating this is like, oh, it's so disgusting. Anyways, you have to also appreciate that their lawyer told the Financial Times that they're willing to fly to the United States for this lawsuit, right? They are willing to commute to the United States, to Delaware courts, where they filed this. But they were unwilling for some reason to allow us to fly to France to interview Brigitte, which we offered to do before we started the series. They were also unwilling to simply answer.
I didn't know that.
Our yes.
But that makes sense that they wouldn't want to do the interview with her.
Or no questions that we emailed to them so that we could ascertain facts. We did all of this before we aired the first episode, which makes the opening lines of their lawsuit especially egregious. It's just the audacious, it's like the audacity of the lies that Claire Locke is now telling. This is what they write in their opening complaint. This is Claire Locke, ready? Can you pull up the opening lines where they say that we didn't allow them? Yeah. It says, in March of 2024, Candace, a right-wing podcaster, told the world that she would stake her entire professional reputation on the fact that Brigitte Macron is, in fact, a man, and then goes on to say, rather than engaging with President and Mrs. Macron's attempts to set the record straight, Owens mocked them and used them as additional fodder for her frenzied fan base. Okay, that's very interesting. So now we can just go ahead and show you when they contacted us. Actually, what they said was, she does not have to answer your questions about whether or not she is and always has been a woman. And we went back and told them, no, actually you do. And here are some more questions, and we're willing to sit down for an interview. I actually went into my computer today, found that letter we sent to them, and typed in the word interview to see how many times we mentioned the prospect of flying out to interview them. Again, we sent this letter to them before we ran the first episode of the show. So this was in early January. Let's pull up what we wrote here. Second, my lawyer tells them, your insistence that Mrs. Macron outright refuses to provide evidence of her gender alone creates significant reason to doubt her counsel-filtered denials. As such, Candace is interested in having Mrs. Macron comment on this controversy, and, as detailed below, Candace now extends Mrs. Macron a full opportunity to rebut the allegations at issue here. Should Mrs. Macron decline this opportunity, that fact, too, precludes a claim of actual malice. Okay, we can go on here. Elsewhere in this letter in which we wrote back to them, we wrote here, you state, because they did, that Mrs. Macron, and we quoted them here, does not owe Candace proof that she is and always has been a woman. But you are wrong for several reasons, and your statement on the matter, which we consider to be admissible evidence, precludes your claim of actual malice by itself. Elsewhere, in that exact same letter, as my lawyer just completely obliterated all their arguments, we included a subheading that says, questions for a fair and balanced interview. You guys remember this? These are the famous questions they declined to answer. And you can see I was searching the word interview, which is why it's highlighted in yellow here. It says, as such, we offer any date and time during the months of January, February, and March of 2025. For an interview between Candace and your clients. Candace, her producer, and a videographer will fly to Europe and arrange for a translator and studio in which the Macrons can answer questions. As you know, the first remedy for a defamation plaintiff is mitigation by, quote, using available.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here, man. But I have a, here, let's see. So she goes into why they're going after her.
I just think it is the wrong time for Brigitte to do this. The world is paying attention. It's getting weird. There's just too many pedophiles in the mix that are being protected by courts and the press that's lying and telling us to look the other way and don't look over there and maybe distraction. We don't like it. And Epstein, as we know, was a fan of Paris. All the best pedophiles are. By the way, I'll just ask you, Brigitte, was it a mistake?
He did have a house in Paris, for those of you that are wondering. He did have a house in Paris, Epstein.
That you had Andre Gide's book, the official presidential portrait of Emmanuel Macron, with a self-admitted pederast that Andre Gide, the author, was. Not by accident. You didn't know what book was in the background, didn't know what book was in the office, just happened to be Andre Gide.
All right, we just passed the 7-hour mark. So chat, join the OSS, man. I'm about to switch on over.